In this video, continuing with our guest network deployment, we'll be setting up a captive portal. So the captive portal is similar to the web authenticated portal that we use to filter based on a user's identity using active authentication. But captive portal pertains to using guest and temporary accounts. With the captive portal, before the user can access their allowed services, like the internet, for example, they must be authenticated through a custom web portal before being granted to those resources. So to set this up, we first need to go to the groups page, which is here under user and devices. And let's go to user groups. Here we will create a new group that will be dedicated for our guest users. So let's do a create new. We will first enter a name for this group. The type will be guest, which is important. For the guest accounts, we want them to use their email address for the username. We can also specify what the username will be, or we can auto-generate it. We're going to select email. For the password, it can automatically be created for us. We can either specify what that password should be, or we can disable the use of the password, but we will use auto-generate for the password. For the expired type, it can be immediately or it can be after first login. So immediately means that once the guest account is created on our firewall, it will expire in the next 4 hours or 4 minutes or 4 seconds. We can specify the particular duration. And this will happen whether they're logged in or not for choosing immediately for the expired type. Now there's also the option for having the account expire after the user first logs in, but we're going to set this for 4 hours. So once we create a guest account, then it will only be active for 4 hours. Next, we will enable the option for name, where we can enter the name of that user for reference. And let's go ahead and let's disable sponsor, and let's leave mail checked or email checked. So once we are finished, we'll go ahead and click on OK to save and create this group. Next, let's create a guest account, and we will do that by going to guest management, which is right here under user. And on this page, make sure that you have the guest group selected, which is reflected right up here. So this is the group that we created. So any account that we add or guest account that we add will pertain to this group. So that's important, especially if you have multiple guest groups created. So we'll go ahead and create a new account. Based on the details of how we created the group, we will enter the name of this guest user and followed by their email address, which they will use for logging in through the captive portal. You'll also see when this account will expire. And let's go ahead and add this account. So here on the summary page, we see our generated password, and we have the option of sending this information to this user's email address. Just go ahead and click here. Okay, so that has been sent, and we are redirected to a guest management page where we can manage active guest accounts that are created and has not yet expired. Okay, let's go ahead and go back and close this up. Our guest user will receive an email with their guest account details, keeping things nice and simple for our guest users and BYOD users for knowing exactly what to use for logging into the captive portal. For our next step, let's go back to the interface page on our FortiGate.